We operate off the 10% rule. The Fitness Genie's 10% rule. If I give you calories and macros, you have plus minus 10% leeway to be able to hit those targets. If, for argument's sake, you're on 1500 calories, that means you could eat anywhere between 1350 and 1650 calories, because that is plus minus 10% of the calories that you have. That is still normally going to be, on average, enough for us to see results, particularly when we're talking about weight loss. You could have 1350 one day and then the next day 1650. What does that average out to? 1500. And if you have that freedom and you can eliminate that, oh my god, I'm a failure, or I went over my calories, if you can fuck that out of your vocabulary, your life will fucking change, because it will be good enough for us to see results. Everybody, hope you're doing absolutely amazing. This week on the Fitness Genie, you've already seen the title, you know exactly what it is. We're talking about some quality shit. If you're an all or nothing type of person, this was a massive one that came up in the Foundations program. So I figured instead of doing a live recording where I would just be, I suppose, sitting here and talking to a Zoom camera, I figured I would do it in higher quality with a better microphone and a better camera, and actually put it here so that people don't have to sit down and watch an entire fucking recording, unless you want to, because we're live on YouTube. I just remembered that, so feel free to check that out. But otherwise, we've got the podcast version of this. So if you are an all or nothing type of person and you want to move through that, or you want to figure out where that's come from or anything like that, we're going to be discussing that today. I'm going to start with calories, because a lot of people that are typically all or nothing have come off the back of those 1200 calorie diets, because they're like, I'm going to do it, I'm going to fucking smash it out super quick and get it done. And we all know how that ends. You've put the weight back on and then some. And I could explain why, but I think that's going to go way too long in a different podcast. We're just going to stick to the mental game for today. So when people are typically getting into calorie tracking, or they're hesitant about getting into calorie tracking because they are a typical all or nothing type of person, the first follow-up question that I ask when they're like, oh yeah, I'm not really sure about if I want to do calorie macro tracking. Cool, that's okay. If you're 100% like uncomfortable with doing calories and macros, we don't have to do it. Do you mind if I ask though, what experience do you have with calorie macro tracking? I normally have just done like what MyFitnessPal has told me to do. And quick pause on that one. If you are getting your numbers from MyFitnessPal and you're putting in your measurements and everything like that, and then you jack it all the way up to, I want to lose 1 kilo a week, because that's where it allows you to go to, they're going to be insanely low calories. MyFitnessPal isn't great. The algorithm isn't great in terms of determining what your calorie expenditures and needs are going to be. It's pretty shit. It's not great. So if you're doing that and you're like, oh, I've just let MyFitnessPal sort of give me how many calories I need to be eating every single day, and that's what I've typically run off, or I've done challenges in the past, or I've done this in the past, meal plans, all of it is essentially incredibly low calories to the point where you have to hyperfixate on every single meal and snack that you are having to get the most food in for the smallest amount of calories possible. That would even drive me insane. Trying to figure out, oh my god, I've got 12 calories left. What can I have for 12 calories? And taking it to the absolute extreme of, I need to hyperfixate, because if I don't hyperfixate, I'm going to go over my calories, and it's incredibly quickly to snowball when you've got such such a finite, minute, that's a word I'm looking for, such a minute area to fuck around with. How was that for a sentence? A minute area to fuck around with. Started smart, you had me in the first half of the sentence, and then you fucked it, Travis. So when you've got such a small margin of error to work, that's the phrase I was after, my God. When you've got such a small margin of error to work with, and the tiniest little thing could put you over your calories, that's where it is typically the all or nothing mindset that has developed in terms of calorie and macro tracking. When I have a lot of people coming on board and I go, sweet, here's your calories, and I give them 17, 18, 1900 calories, and they go, how the fuck am I meant to eat all that food? I'm like, well, give it a go for a week or two and see how you feel. And them trying to get the 17, 18, 1900 calories in, they're like, oh my god, I can't eat this much food. How in the shit am I still losing weight? I'm like, well, because you've been over restricting this entire goddamn time. When I calculate a lot of people's BMIs and TDEEs or maintenance calories, when they initially come on board, their maintenance calories are somewhere around like 23 to 2600 per day. And when I give them anything that has a 1 in front of it, it could be 1999. That's going to be a deficit. That's going to be enough for you to see weight loss. And ultimately, when I'm starting off with calorie and macro tracking for a lot of people, I don't give a shit what the numbers are. I'm doing it more of a, oh, so I didn't hit my protein this week. How do I get more protein in? Oh, I was actually pretty unorganized this week. The calories are all over the place. I had no idea it was like that. It's more about the habits and behaviors around eating more so than hitting the particular numbers. Because if you can hit the numbers straight out of the gate, fan-fucking-tastic. That's not your issue. Your issue is a lot deeper than that. But for a lot of people, when they're trying to heal their relationship with food and figure out how they can lose weight without being over-restrictive, it's not so much of what to eat, because a lot of people know what to eat, or they're eating pretty healthy food to begin with. The bigger issue comes when they don't know how to eat. And that is the big thing that we do, because people know what to eat. They're eating typically pretty healthy foods, but they're just ever so slightly in a calorie surplus. And that's why a lot of people hit this tipping point of like, oh, fuck, I've got to lose weight, because it sneaks up on them 100 grams a week. In a year, yeah, that's, oh my God, in a year, 5 kilos. Multiply that by 5 years, 25 kilos. That's why people hit the point where they go, oh, fuck, I didn't, I'm doing everything right, or I'm just doing what used to work with me or for me, or like whatever it was. It typically sneaks up on people and it gets away from them. And it's not their fault. They're just living their life and things are going pretty well. And if you were gaining 100 kilos, wow, if you gained 100 kilos in a week, there's a big fucking issue there. But if you gained 100 grams in a week, there we go. If you gained 100 grams in a week, there's no red flag, there's no alarm bells going off, there's no nothing happening. But if that consistently happens every week for 5 years, that's where people typically hit that, oh my God, okay, I've got to do something. And we want to try and reach people before it hits that point so they can be proactive about it, save a shitload of money, particularly on coaching, but then also like medical bills or stuff that could be potentially coming up in their future as well. So the 1200 calories, like if you eat the 17, 18, 1900 calories per day, you're more than likely going to lose weight over a long period of time. And when we're looking at the 100 gram gain every week for 5 years, let's take that same train of thought for weight loss. If you lost 100 grams a week, well then in 5 years there's 25 kilos gone. Holy shit, you're a completely different person. Different habits, lifestyle, thought patterns, belief systems, all that fun stuff. But a lot of people go, oh, I need to lose weight almost immediately. And that's not their fault for thinking that. It's the way that a lot of challenges have been set up in the past to be like, hey, if you want to lose 10 kilos in 8 weeks, let's do this. And it is typically, in the fitness industry, the person that gets the quicker results, that people are going to go there. The gym or the trainer or whatever that typically gets quicker results, people are going to pay for convenience of rushing and sprinting to the finish, as opposed to, because then they're like, oh yeah, sweet, lost 10 kilos, I can just go back to doing what I was doing. That's where the yo-yo diet starts, because there's nothing that addresses the habits or behaviors or the foundational shit as to why were you 25 kilos overweight to begin with, or whatever number it is overweight to begin with, or the number of weight, oh my God, or the number of kilos of weight that you wanted to lose in the first place. None of that shit gets addressed. That's why we've made this program. Yay! So when you've got the experience of hyperfixating on calories and macros because you've done those incredibly low restrictive, over restrictive diets in the past, it absolutely 100% makes sense as to why you are hesitant to go into calorie and macro tracking to begin with. And we don't want that for absolutely anybody. So we work on trying to make sure that it's, hey, we operate off the 10% rule. And to let you know what the 10% rule is, and I don't think a lot of people talk about this, I don't even know if it's out there, but anyway, let's just say I created it, because why the fuck not? We're reinventing normal fucking topics. So I'm going to call this the Fitness Genie's 10% rule. The 10% rule is if I give you calories and macros, you have plus minus 10% leeway to be able to hit those targets. If you are, for example, 1,500 calories, I can't remember, well, there's a few people that are on those 1,500 calories, but not many. if for argument's sake you're on 1500 calories, that means you could eat anywhere between 1350 and 1650 calories, because that is plus minus 10% of the calories that you have. That is still normally going to be, on average, enough for us to see results, particularly when we're talking about weight loss. If you are good enough, that is the human version of perfection. If you are good enough to average out about 1500 calories, you could have 1350 one day and then the next day 1650. What does that average out to? 1500. So obviously we want to make sure that that's optimized so that you're getting as many calories in during the day as possible. But across the week, on average, your calories are more than likely going to average out the numbers that we give you. And if you have that freedom and you can eliminate that, oh my God, I'm a failure, or I went over my calories, if you can fuck that out of your vocabulary, you're going to be a lot more successful in the long run if you can adopt the 10% rule. I'm going to say that. If you can adopt the 10% rule, your life will fucking change, because it will be good enough for us to see results. When stuff starts plateauing and going all over the shop and haywire, if that comes up at all, or if you are 1300 calories one day, 1700 calories the next, 1200 calories one day, we need to stop that pendulum swinging. We need to bring it back into, okay, let's refine these parameters. Let's go 5%, and then try to average that out so that you're not completely dead, brain fogged one day, and then the next day you've got all the energy in the world, and you're letting that emotional pendulum swing to make decisions for you, because that's going to be fucking awful. So that's the 10% rule that we typically run off of. So there is no, oh my God, I went over my calories, or oh my God, this is such a failure, I know that I can't stick. Like, who gives a fuck? We're mainly using calorie and macro tracking to figure out how you think and act around food anyway. If I have a day, if I can see on a client's spreadsheet that they've got like 2,600 calories in one day, I go, cool, hey, what happened here? Oh, I got my period and it was just like a pit. Like I could eat everything forever, so I just kept doing that. And it was just one thing after another, and it got like, sweet. Overeating wasn't the issue. It was managing the hormones and the emotions that came from your menstrual cycle. How can we do that? Maybe instead of sticking to 1,600 calories, for example, when your period hits, we bump that up to 2,000 calories a day. So then that way you can still have more food. It's structured, more than likely going to be in a very conservative deficit, if not a maintenance phase, and you can indulge in your cravings. That way, you've still hit the parameters of the program. We've focused on not gaining weight as opposed to, holy shit, I must lose weight during my period. It's going to mentally and emotionally be a lot calmer and a lot easier for you to adhere to, so that when you feel that settle down, we just go back into a deficit like nothing ever happened. That's what we do. We manage this shit through life. And if you're that all or nothing type of person, that's going to be one of the biggest things that we have to manage, is your emotional responses. People go really well for 3 weeks, their cycle hits, or their period hits, I should say, and they lose their fucking mind because they go, I can't stop eating, fuck it. And they just go all out for 3 days, 4 days. And then I come back, jump on a coaching call with them. Hey, what's going on? Oh, yeah, kind of blew up the world on that one. And I'm like, okay, cool. Why do you think you blew up the world? And then we run through, okay, cool, it's your cycle. So next time that happens, here's what we're going to do, and here's how we're going to adjust your calories. And they go, what the fuck? Why can I do this? I'm like, well, you ate 3,000 calories a day for 4 days in a row. And at the end of the day, in 1 week, you are still the same weight. Wow, you are still the same weight that you were 8 days ago. So I'd call that some pretty good fucking progress. What do you say? And they go, oh, fuck yeah, when you put it into perspective like that, it's like, yes, we put things in the bigger picture. All or nothing can quickly be erased by you opening up your time frame. If you sign up for 3 months on, like, let's just say any program at all. If you sign up for 3 months of coaching with us, which is our minimum, 12 weeks, because obviously we're not going to get you fucking life-changing results in 4 weeks, so we have a 3-month minimum to make sure that you can see the results. So if you sign up with us for 3 months, and if you say, I want to lose 10 kilos in that 3 months, the first question I'm going to ask you, or that I will get the coaches to ask you, or that I want you to ask yourself, would I be happy losing 10 kilos in 6 months? Would I be happy losing 10 kilos in 9 months? And you just keep adding 3 months and 3 months and 3 months until it eventually hits a point where you're like, hey, you know what? Maybe 12 months, yeah, I need or would love to see 10 kilos in 12 months. If not, then there's something happening. Cool. So what did we learn from that? It's like, cool. Now we know that we don't have to see weight loss every single week for us to be successful, because now we've just taken your time frame from 3 months to 9 months. So if you have 1 week that is like, oh my God, I gained weight this week, for whatever fucking thousands of variations that there can be, particularly if you're a woman, for what the scales are going to read on any one particular morning. If you can look at that and the weight goes up a little bit for whatever variation, and you go, instead of, oh, well, there goes an entire week of the program, oh, I fucking failed, and having that mindset, you immediately shift into, oh, well, that's not too bad. I've still got 7 months left. Or if you really want to get into it, that sucks. I've only got the rest of my fucking life to live. We literally have your entire life to achieve what you want to achieve. So does it really matter if you lose 200 grams a week or if you lose 800 grams a week? Does it really matter if, when everything is said and done, it is inevitable that you are going to achieve the physical results that you want to achieve, and the mental results and the mental results that you want to achieve? Does time really matter if it's inevitable? If it's inevitable, that's going to give you a shitload of permission to live the life that you want to live. Ultimately, we want to be doing things that are in line with that inevitability to fucking make it actually come true. Because if Thanos was like, hey, I'm inevitable, and then it was just like, you know what, sweet, I'm inevitable, I'm just going to sit on the couch and watch infinity fucking TV and do all this stuff, then I'm willing to bet that he wouldn't exactly be inevitable. It's through his habits, through his actions, through his thought patterns, and through his decisive demeanor that he was inevitable. Because he frequently took action, he knew where he was going, he knew that no matter what decision that he made, as long as it had that sort of like, I want the Infinity Stones, so I'm going to do everything I can to get the Infinity Stones, he knew that it was going to be inevitable. Hard work pays off, I suppose. Until you get your head chopped off by a thunder, lightning demigod. Oh, life is a fickle bitch. So, the thing that I'm trying to get across in this podcast is that if you are an all or nothing type of person, as best that you can, expand your timeline for success. You don't have to achieve life-changing shit in a week, in 2 weeks, in 6 weeks. Think about how long it took you to get to where you are today, to want to make a decision and improve your life for the better, and then take that same amount of time that has compounded for you to get here, and then be like, okay, would I be okay if I had the dream lifestyle, dream body, dream everything that I've ever wanted in that same amount of time? For example, it has taken me 28 years to get exactly where I am today. If I focus for the next 28 years, it'll take me to 56. Would I be okay doing all the things, slowly but surely, achieving the body and lifestyle and dream and career and all of that stuff, if I was living my dream life by just doing what I'm doing today by 56, that sounds pretty fucking good to me. Knowing that I'm going to be pretty fucking set by 56 and still hopefully pretty mobile to be able to do the things that I want to do, that sounds like absolute fucking dubs, my guy. That sounds pretty damn good. So think about all the time that you have, and shit, even if you wanted to half it, if I said, well, 28, well, I don't really want to wait 28 years to get to where I want to go. What if I do 14 years? What if I do 10 years? It may seem like a dream or something, or way too future pacing, but it is definitely possible if you just take the actions to be able to get there. So then you're still moving in the direction that you want to. You're just not, I suppose, held back by the thought that everything has to be instant gratification, which is one of the biggest issues that I'm seeing with this generation and fucking a lot of people that I'm talking to. They want results now. They want their food now. They want fucking TV now. That everything is on demand these days. And the one thing that you will not get on demand is results in life. Weight loss, career, anything that is worth getting, you will not have it on demand. So then you will have to practice delayed gratification of, will I forego this instant gratification or this short-term pleasure to move to where I want to go and be in 10 years' time? Because if it's inevitable, then we can just keep doing this shit. Doesn't mean you have to forego every short-term pleasure for a long-term gain. It just means that you're going to do that more often than not to get to where you want to go, because you know that you are no longer an all or nothing person. You are someone who gets shit done because you are inevitable. You're fucking Thanos now. Yay, minus the genocide. Yay, go us. Look at us. We just changed your identity. So if we can move away from that all or nothing, and then if you want to go deep on this, you can also figure out, why am I all or nothing? And I know that's a fucking giant umbrella question. If we're talking about calories and macros, you can go, what is my experience with calorie and macro tracking? Oh, it's always been over restrictive. Oh, okay, cool. That makes sense why my belief system is that calorie macro tracking doesn't work, even though it 100% does. It's just a tool. It's how you use that tool and your perspective on that tool to be able to get results from it. And that's just what we're doing with your life. We're trying to figure out exactly what it is that makes you tick, what makes you great, so that we can get you to wherever it is that you want to be going so that you can live your life. That's the shit that we want to be doing. So I hope that helped in some sort of way. If you've got questions on the all or nothing, please reach out, let me know, because I love recording podcasts like this. And this is applicable to literally every area of your life. If you can lean into the delayed gratification, fuck yeah. You're going to get 10, 100, 1,000 times better results if you can forego, more often than not, a short-term pleasure for a long-term gain. And that's where you'll start winning at life. You know, all the success that I'm seeing now in business isn't just because of some overnight success. It's because I've done all of the foundational things to set up an amazing program. Once I had that amazing program, fuck, what do I do? How do I market it? I'm going to get one client this month. Cool. Get that one client, over deliver like all fuck, get amazing results for them, market those results. Cool. That took me the month of getting that client, 6 months of working with them to get the results, and then marketing that to be able to say, hey, jump on a podcast 6 months later, and now a client has signed up because they listened to that podcast that ultimately took me 12 months to record. That's the type of shit that I am big on. I am such a fan of, we're not doing this for you right now. We're doing this for you in 6 months' time, in 12 months' time. So when I phrase it like that, it's like, oh, we've actually got a lot of time to figure out how this works and how we optimize it and how we can build this thing, how we can make it better. What don't we like about it? We can put it through every amount of bias and all the lenses and all that fun stuff that typically create us humans. And we can look at it in 5 years' time and be like, yeah, that's actually really fucking good, which is what we're doing now, because it is, well, I mean, I've been a PT for 7 years, but now we're looking at this in terms of, it has been 5 years since the Fitness Genie has become the Fitness Genie. And look at where we are. It's a 5-year overnight success, as I heard someone say once, because it's all that work in the back end that has finally led to now. And people will be like, yeah, you got lucky and did this and this. No. If I had have gotten lucky and gotten the same amount of followers and videos and stuff on TikTok, it would have been for something funny, but it wouldn't have been for something meaningful. I got all of my followers and all of my likes and all of my fucking marketing and inquiries and all that stuff, not just because I was on TikTok, because I made relatable content on TikTok for a very specific niche that I've learned a fuckload about in 7 years in the industry. So I know how people operate, what they're thinking, what more than likely their past experience has been, and how they're relating that to today's society, challenges, weight loss, and how people are typically thinking. I took 7 years of experience in the industry and turned it into a 15-second clip that people went, oh, that's fucking good. This guy gets it. Let's work with him. So it's not an overnight success. It's years and years and years of practice to be able to coach someone to get really fucking good at my job, to be able to make a 7-second video that is kind of funny, that makes you go, that's business. Took 7 years to get you to do a fucking nose laugh. And here we are. What a fucking return on investment that is. 7 years to record a 7-second video that makes you go, and then you go, let's work with this guy. Wow, that is just hitting me right now, and I'm fucking blown away for the fact that that's what it fucking took. If you'd have told me that 7 years ago, that you, Jesus Christ. Okay, anyway. Oh, all right. Well, I hope this has helped in some way. for the all or nothing people out there. This can be relatable to literally anything. If you are an all or nothing person and you have questions for me and you want to ask me something about, hey, this is where I have my biggest roadblock, mentally, emotionally, physically, whatever it is, just DM me on Instagram and I respond to every single DM that comes through. So if you have that question, you're like, I'm not sure if I should ask it, just get it out of your head. Just fucking ask me, get it out of the way. Absolute worst case, I'll be like, oh, you know what? I can't actually answer this because there's no context or there's no background information. Let's quickly jump on a call so that I can actually just smash it out in 10 minutes if I've got the time to do that. Otherwise, I'm going to help as much as I can for every single person that messages me on Instagram. So if you've got that question, reach out. Let me know. I fucking love talking because more than likely it's going to be a question that I'm going to be like, hey, that's actually really good. Do you mind if I use that for a podcast episode? And then you can listen to the podcast episode and be like, hey, that's my question. And you can fucking feel good for that week. Or as long as you want to, really. But anyway, I hope this has helped in some way. Have the best week in the world. I'll speak to you all very soon.